Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel again. As you all know, we are discussing semantic web elements these days, HTML5 elements which make the web more meaningful. And the pages we are visiting today, the reason behind the search engines. If you search your queries in Google or Yahoo, any search engines, and how do the search engines know which website is good at particular topic or keyword? So the logic behind that is the nowadays the websites are more meaningful, and the meaningful websites done in HTML5, and with the help of HTML5 meaningful tags, we make the SEO friendly websites today. Last time we discussed the basic sort of HTML tags. For example, I told you about the header tag, I told you about the nav tag, I also told you about the main tag, and we covered quite so many other tags. I can't remember all of them, but what I will do is I'll introduce you with some of more useful tags. As you can see on my screen, I put the article tag. Article tag is basically, if you add an article tag on your web page, that section where you put your content in it, it is taken as a complete independent article on its own. And if you, most of the time we use news articles or case studies or anything like that, we can put in an article. And how do we do that? We basically write, for example, if we have a HTML page here, let me quickly open the page we were creating last time on our desktop. We created our HTML page. If you see here, if I bring a little bit down, if you see, last time we covered header, and now do you know what will be good to have is we can make a proper, we can start making some page where you can actually see the things happening. So in a title we can say, we can call this website my website title, my website, or we can call it my first HTML5 website. And as I said, when you create a real website, obviously you will start with the header, body, and you can have more information here. One more thing I didn't till so far, and I should have basically covered in my initial lessons as well, is internal and external style sheets. When we write something here, for example, if I write for example div, and if I write in that div, if I write for example h1, and I say this is my heading, and if I write some paragraph here and write for example lorem ipsum text here, and if I run that page, HTML5 page, in my browser, and obviously you can see my heading is coming here. But when I say you should divide your code into, first of all, if you are familiar with the semantic web HTML5 elements, you will not only use the divs and span. Some people write code in a span, and they assign classes to things like class and IDs and stuff. But all this is irrelevant in terms of these are non-semantic elements. Google doesn't understand them when you write these elements in onto your page, unless you wrap these elements around. For example, if I want to if I want to make a div which is having a header information of the page, I would write something like header, and then in the header we can have, you can create div dot, for example, div dot container, and in that container you can have, for example, a list where you can have ul list, and ul can have li, and within li you have a, for example, a href says, it takes us to home page, or we can for now keep it empty, and we say, let's say home. And if I make few more links on a page, home, second you can create like about us, services. So if you render that code here, what happens is, if you refresh your page, you should have 3 links, clickable links. But now if you see, because we added these links into the header, then now for computer, for web search engines, these have more meaningful elements. For computers, anything you provide in the header, most of the time web pages, web browsers, if they find the header, they see the header is going to have the heading information or navigation structure into it. Similarly, you can have another element. Just for example, we covered the article. You write article, and in the article you can write, an article have a footer, for example. And with the style sheets, you can call it, for example, I can give this a class of, let's say, I can call it my menu, for example, my dash menu. Now, to style this menu, for example, if I want to show these menus into one line rather than in a separate rows, obviously I will do that with CSS. There are 2 options to do that. One is I can style here. For example, I can write style, and I write border 1 pixel solid red. So if I write that and save, you will see a red color border going around the menu. So that's a one way. This is called inline styling. You should not be doing inline styling onto the web pages, as it's not something you should do on a big projects or real world projects, because Google doesn't like, all the search engines. If you have inline styling, you will generate, imagine you have to write, let's say, 50 lines of style sheets instructions here. You're going to create 1 line and second and third, and you're going to have a very long CSS here. So recommended way is you should not provide styling here. What you can do is you can write either the styles in your header area. If you write styles, and within the style opening and closing, if you write something like menu, my menu, the class name of the menu, and in that you can say border 2 pixel solid blue this time, just to see if that works for us. If you see, now the border is blue color, and we remove the border from there, and it's picking up the right style. That's the internal style sheet. But this is still not recommended way and best way to deal with style sheet. The best way to write the cosmetic changes or style sheets, cascading style sheets. CSS is a cascading style sheet. So if you want to add style sheet for your website, and almost all the websites need a styling element doing, and cosmetic changes, to make a style sheet, what you can do is you can either right click and create a file, into the same folder where you are working, or you can create a separate folder within your website, which I normally recommend you to do that. So you create that, and you can say CSS. You create a CSS folder, and within the CSS folder you can create your very first external style sheet, and you can call it styles, my styles, or style.css or styles.css, I normally call it. And if you save it, and now if I save that and refresh the page, that border shouldn't be anymore there. And if I now want to add a border through this style sheet, what I will do is, first of all, I'll copy the same class name and write dot same class name and border 1 pixel, or let's say 3 pixel solid, and this time we can do yellow. And now if I refresh, that yellow color shouldn't come because I didn't link the style sheet with the web page yet. This is why I intentionally didn't do that, so that most of the time people forget to link. They write the styles and everything, but they forget to link the style sheet to your web page. So the easy way you can link your style sheet to your web page is if you type link, and if you are using Sublime, and if you press tab, that creates link which has a relationship of style sheet, and the file type is text and CSS. And here you can write the folder name where you have created your style sheet, and then the style sheet name styles.css, the extension of the file, and that should basically link your style sheet to the web page, and we should be able to see the border around. As you can see, the yellow color border is coming on to the around the UL. What I will do is I'll continue writing more styles to move these menu items into the right line in the next lesson. So stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll come back with more videos. Thank you very much for watching.